response comes from, and this is actually, I'm going to just use my experience from having studied the world religions and studied them specifically from a feminist perspective after learning about them the regular way, right? Without any feminist lens or critique. And that is, I've gone through a series of phases in my attitude towards religion in general, right? But what's important to note is that it hasn't always been as sexist or as misogynistic, right? And so if you go back and you learn about early religious traditions, you will learn that the earliest forms of religion heavily worshipped the feminine, right? And what they would note is that it's at these moments of colonial or imperial invasion that we start to see a direct attack on feminine worship, as well as that happens to coincide with a greater gap between what we might call traditional gender roles, right? So if you go back to early Islam, women had far more rights, right, than they do under current Islamic theology, right? So once you see that that hasn't always been the case, right? And so if we acknowledge that the earliest times were worshiping the feminine, right, then a feminist who is a theist could very easily say, like, yeah, this history of misogyny doesn't, take away from the fact that humans' first interactions with the divine interpreted it in a feminine way, right? Or embodied it with feminine characteristics. And that is meaningful, right? And we want to try to return to that, or at least go to something that is more gender neutral, right? To avoid some of the inequities that we've seen.